Hey guys, Kevin here for Vampire Diaries Season 7, Episode 8, Hold Me, Throw Me, Kiss Me, and I was looking forward to this episode. I mean, yes, I was a bit disappointed by the last one, but it really set up this really interesting, ending. I really didn't know what was going to happen in this episode, and, this episode was really good until the end. The ending I was a bit, underwhelmed by, definitely, guys, because what happens at the end of this episode, I really felt should have happened in the mid-season finale, because honestly, I have no idea what the stakes are in the midseason finale. They don't seem very high going into it. I just feel like we could have had more of this going on next week, and I felt like it was kind of rushed, honestly. But let's just get into this episode, because overall, I really did enjoy it. Definitely one of the more enjoyable episodes of Season 7, and I thought, for the most part, it was honestly, at points, some of the best scenes we've had from this show. But let's just get into it. We start off 3 years from now, and again, we're back to this whole Damon Alaric thing. Now, I like that we are on this, but we need to get back to the other flashbacks, because at this point, the flashbacks are seeming kind of pointless. They really are, because like I said, we're seeing things I don't feel we should see yet. I don't want to see these things. I don't want to see what's going on. I want this to build up to something, and it seems like what we're building up to, we're already seeing. And I'm a bit disappointed, because what's the point in seeing these flashbacks, these flash forwards, if we're just going to see what's going on? There's no point in seeing that. So, we begin 3 years from now with Damon drugged and chained. His captor says that she was hoping for Stefan, not him. Damon asks her to come closer, and it's Lily. Lily is the person that apparently is holding him hostage, and he says it's been a long time. He passes out again, and we see Lily lies awake in bed next to Julien, and Damon and Stefan are plotting to kill Julien today, and Enzo's with them and doesn't like this plot. He doesn't really think it's a good idea. Wait a second, Enzo, weren't you trying to kill him in the last episode? Like, I don't understand this. Stefan says that they get his blood and another heretic can unlink them so they can kill Julien, but not Lily, and that's basically what their plan is. And I thought that was a very smart, well thought out plan. And Lily finds Julien with Mary Louise and Nora making pancakes, who I liked in this episode. I thought Mary Louise and Nora were actually tolerable here. They didn't just seem like a lesbian couple. And again, I've said this so many times. I have nothing against, and I can't believe I'm still saying this, but I still am getting comments saying, why don't you like lesbian couples? I like lesbian couples. I have nothing against them. It's just, God forbid, give them something interesting to do. And they actually, I think, did in this episode. They actually felt like they were important in this episode, and I thought they did a good job with them. They're still not great. I still don't think they're the most interesting of characters, but they at least may put them to good use in this episode. There wasn't some stupid, like, Mary Louise is too sexy, being too sexy and something like that. There was nothing like that. So, Enzo says the girls love Julien, and Stefan says they need to deploy the nuclear option, and Valerie, who the nuclear option is Valerie. So, Enzo calls her the Black Sheep. Nora says it's her and Mary Louise's anniversary, 100 years, 100-year anniversary. And, I would care, but you guys know I don't really give a shit about them. I don't care about their anniversary. I don't care, because so far, all they've given us is that they're just that. They're a couple, and there's nothing else really to their story, except that they are a couple. That's all we've really gotten of them, and I want to see more. I really want them to do more with them as characters, but, like I said, they do more in this episode, but at this point, I was like, I don't really care. So Julien says they have a wonderful surprise for her anniversary, and Lily's playing along. Caroline writes in the journal to Elena that she's pregnant with Alaric's twins. She says it means a lot to Alaric, but doesn't know what it means to her, and Matt says all the people Julien stole disappeared. She tells him that she's pregnant, and she has to tell Stefan today. And at first, Matt doesn't believe her, thinks she's playing around, but then she tells him what's actually going on. Enzo runs into Lily at the library and says he needs a self-help book because he fell for a woman who has bad taste in men. And she's looking for a poetry book for the girl's anniversary. She mentions the poem, and Enzo quotes it for her from memory, and Lily digs the romantic poetry. He tells her there's a lot she doesn't know about him. He hands her a book, and I like that finally it's working out between Enzo and Lily, but good God, these two really don't have very good chemistry at all, honestly. They don't really have very good chemistry. He says it's Sir Walter Raleigh, and says Bobble wouldn't get the heretics to pick her over the evil stepfather, and she says she has no choice, and he says run away with him while Stefan and Damon take care of this, and I'm like, seriously? That's what you wanted to do? You wanted to run away with you? And she says she can't run from it, and I like that Lily was smart to say, no, I'm not going to do this. So Enzo asks her to come away, and she says she can't. He asks what if she could. She says if she could. He kisses her. She kisses back. Then he stops and backs away. He wishes her luck and says she'll need it. Julien then brings Mary Louise and Nora to a party. It's all the people he's been keeping in the IV storage, and Julien says the people are friends, food, whatever, and have been compelled. And he says he's been collecting them for the occasion. He bites into one. Lily sees it and is very angry that this is happening. And, she just doesn't think this is a good idea what he's doing. And Julien says loosen up. Lily asks where they came from, and the girls say that she's running their nights. Lily says since it's a special occasion, they can make an exception. And Mary Louise and Nora start eating a guy together, and Lily's not happy with Julien. And I actually, this is how you make these characters interesting. Seeing Julien basically get these two to start eating again and start feeding on people and, start killing, that's interesting. That I really like. I mean, their attachment they have to Julien, that makes them interesting characters, because now they have this attachment to him, and he's making them do these things, and it's kind of making me wonder, is he going to compel Mary Louise and Nora? I honestly thought he was going to do that in this episode. So, basically, well, we knew he obviously can't do that. You can't compel another vampire, but, I definitely was interested in seeing what he was going to do here. So, Caroline comes to see Stefan, and he says he thought she was studying. Damon calls her a distraction, says they have to go. Caroline isn't happy to see Valerie there, and she stammers, and Valerie drags Damon out so they can talk. By the way, no Alaric this entire episode. Very strange, and especially with this whole Caroline storyline, you think that Alaric would be in there. He's not even in this episode. So, Caroline says they need to have a moment. She pours him a drink, then tells about the magical baby transplant. She says none of her clothes fit, and she's eating ice cream constantly. Stefan is stunned into silence, and he says that he has to go. He says they have a short window of time to get to Julien, and he leaves, promising that they'll talk later. And again, this felt like something that we should have gotten next week, because this scene, while it was good, it felt very anticlimactic, because one, it's happening very early in the episode. Two, they don't really do much with this in this episode other than, her just talking to him about it and explaining what's going on. Other than that, I feel like we should have gotten a lot more of this next week. The revelation here could have been a lot more interesting. Now, there are other scenes we do get with, with this going on, but I just felt like her revealing it to Stefan should have happened in the mid-season finale. It just would have made more sense. So, Mary Louise shows Julien an engagement ring that she wants to give to Nora when she proposes, and she's planning on proposing to her. Julien says that Nora will say yes, but she needs a bigger ring. He offers her one from French royalty, and she hugs him happily. He wishes her luck. Lily's with Nora, and she has the poetry back for her that was from when they were in prison. And Julien creeps on Lily, surprised her, then asks her to dance. They go back inside. She says she can't dance to this music. He says the DJ will play a slow song. The music changes, and he asks if she remembers the song, and she says she can never forget it. Says Julien could always sing so beautifully. He says they're together now as a family at long last. She says it's like old times, and he says almost. He asks if she's had any real blood, and I do think that Julien does genuinely care about her. I do think he does, but again, he's not willing to stop killing for her, and he clearly is not to be trusted. She says she uses blood bags and is fine. He says join us, and says Stefan and Damon will never join them, and she says she has all the love she needs here, and Julien says let go and come back to them. He wants her to go on a blood binge, and that's basically what he wants to do here. He wants her to start killing again and start feeding on people again. And you know that she's obviously not going to do this. You know that she wanted to keep things peaceful. She doesn't want them to cause problems. It's just Julien's the one that's causing all this, and she is very well aware of this, and that's why she's planning on killing him. And it's kind of sad, because I think Lily does genuinely care for Julien, but he's clearly not listening to her, and if he's not going to listen to her, what's the point in staying with him? There's no point. I mean, if he's not going to listen to what she wants him to do, what's the point in just him staying with her? There's really no point, because he's not going to listen to her. He's not going to do what she wants, and that's obviously really bad, because you need to do what Lily wants you to do, or else you're probably going to die. So that's just the kind of character Lily is, and I like seeing that here. So Lily smiles and bites. Just as Damon shows up, she stops immediately, and Damon turns and walks out. She wipes her mouth and looks upset, obviously, because Damon was thinking that this wasn't going to happen, and it's a really powerful scene. I actually really like this here. She runs outside to speak to Damon, and what I like the most about this scene is now, we know that Damon thinks that she's still like this cold-blooded killer and still can't trust her, and doesn't really think that she's any better. If you remember from the last episode, he told Stefan, look, we can't trust her, and I thought this scene was very powerful in that regard because of that, and I really love what they did with this scene. I thought this was a really great scene here, because basically Damon turns and walks out. She wipes her mouth and looks upset. She runs outside to speak to Damon, says she can't stand another moment with Julien. Damon says that Stefan is a mama's boy, and she slaps him after he says if she's not unlinked from Julien, she'll die too. And he says his mother died when he was young, and he says she could have run in the prison world for all he cares, and he wishes that she was dead. And I understand. She's making his life very complicated. I mean, he's still getting over Elena. He's not really getting over Elena, but there is still that. I am going to go back to that because that's really what he wanted to focus on. She's back, and it's kind of just, it's ruined a lot of things. It's caused a lot of drama that they don't really need. So Lily, basically, then what happens here is Nora comes with a box, reads her a poem that, then Mary Louise pop opens the ring box and proposes. Nora says yes, she slides the ring onto her finger, they kiss. It's a sweet scene, but again, I don't really care. I don't care. These two are a couple. I just don't. It's not that interesting. It's not that it's bad, it's just not interesting. Valerie shows up, says she's happy for them, and Mary Louise asks why they're ruining the best moment of her life. Valerie says they need to talk about the worst moment of hers, and this scene I loved with Valerie. I thought this was a great scene. We'll get into that. But Matt finds Enzo feeding and stops him at gunpoint. Matt asks why he's doing this. Enzo says he didn't get the girl and tells Matt the life-saving business isn't his talent, and Matt says that Damon doesn't want Enzo, and neither does Lily. He asks why he's still there, which is a good question. What the hell is Enzo still doing there if nobody wants him? Enzo says the heretics are throwing a murder party, and all he stopped was him. And he tells Matt he brought a knife to a gunfight and will die. Enzo walks out, wipes the blood off his mouth. He's taken down, surrounded. Men put him into a cage in the back of a truck and drive off with him. So I'm assuming Enzo's gonna die. And honestly, I'd be fine if he does, because let's face it, does anyone really care if Enzo lives? I don't. I mean, he hasn't really felt out of place this season, but this specific scene, it's kind of felt like Matt's trying to say, why are you still here? Why are you alive? Why are you around us? Like, what is the point? You know, if no one's really going to do anything for you, if no one even really cares about you, what the fuck are you doing here? I mean, I think I speak for all of us when I say we don't really care about Enzo as a character. Yes, they've made a very interesting arc with him, but it's just not that interesting. It's really not. It's very redundant. It's very, like, whatever, and that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't really have much to say about this storyline other than it's just okay. I don't really have much to say about it. So, basically, Mary Louise says she's trying to steal the spotlight. Lily's there, too. Damon and Stefan approach Julien, who's still feasting. And Valerie, we then get what I think was the best scene in this episode. I love this scene with Valerie. And the actress that plays her did an amazing job in this scene. You really see the trauma that Valerie's gone through here. She tells the girls about what Julien did to her and says he beat her so savagely, her baby was dead. She says murdering her child was calculated. Mary Louise asks why he would do that. And Lily says that Julien knew she wouldn't leave with him because of the pregnancy. And Valerie says that she killed herself and became the first heretic, and Lily says that she believes and says it finally allowed her to see Julien for who he really is, and she says that she's leaving him, and Valerie says that Lily needs their help, and she asks the girls who they believe, and this was great. The way that they're trying to get Mary Louise and Nora to, you know, get on their side and show that Julien's not to be trusted. This I loved, but the thing is, I wish this would have been introduced a little bit later. I mean, this was so interesting, and this is how you make Mary Louise and Nora more interesting characters. I mean, definitely, this is how you do it, and I definitely like what they did here. So, Beau approaches Valerie, looks into her eyes, then his face crinkles in pain, he hugs her, he saw the truth, and it's such a powerful scene. I mean, Beau's a character that he doesn't need to talk for us to feel emotion. Nora hugs her too, Mary Louise says it's a lot to take in, Nora says they are family and needs to stick together, Mary Louise finally goes to Valerie and hugs her too, and Lily sends a text. Now that was a really great scene. Because they've now forgiven Valerie. I mean, all of that going on with her, you know, them not really liking Valerie and taunting her and not really wanting anything to do with her, it's all over. And Lily sends a text. She tells Beau to take her hand, then braces herself. Stefan and Damon attract Julien. Lily is bleeding. Stefan comes to Julien, stabs him, then they tie him up. Lily moans in pain. She's bleeding too since they're still linked. And Stefan tells Lily that Damon is tying up Julien, says he has his blood. She says they're waiting in the greenhouse. Stefan tells her that Caroline is pregnant, and she is shocked. And he says, surprise him too. Lily asks how, and he says, Gemini spell. And he says they're not his kids, and she says this must be hard. And Stefan says he didn't handle the things the right way, and then asks for some advice. She says, tell her that, and I love that Lily didn't react in the way I thought she was going to. I like that Lily didn't freak out. I like that Lily basically reacted the way a mother would. I like what she says. She says to tell her that he loves her and remembers what Caroline is going through. And I thought that was really great. She says, one day Caroline will sacrifice everything for the kids. And we know that's going to happen because obviously something's going to happen with Stefan that causes Caroline to not want anything to do with him for her kids. And Stefan says that Lily can start over without Julien, but she says it's too late. Stefan says she still has him. He says it's in his genetics to forgive the unforgivable. She says Damon doesn't see things that way, and Stefan says that Damon is a well up, but he can take it down. Has a wall up but can take it down. Lily says but he's gone and says she saw he wants her dead. And Stefan says he's seen that look before over the past 150 years. And she says maybe he can give her some advice on how to get Damon back. And Stefan says give it time. We're definitely starting to see Damon go into that dark path that we definitely have been seeing in the flash forwards. So Julien hassles Damon about risking his life for Lily. Valerie comes in and says, don't listen to me, just wants to provoke him into killing him while they're linked. Then Julien provokes her about the pregnancy and she says, rot in hell. Damon asks if they broke the link. Mary Louise asks how she knows that she was really pregnant with Stefan's child. Damon says enough. He tells her to let the adults handle it, and Mary Louise takes down Damon and Valerie. Julien says that's why she's always been his favorite, and Stefan calls, and this was annoying. I mean, the fact that Mary Louise didn't listen to them, I thought was really annoying. And Stefan calls Caroline, says he's sorry for earlier, says he didn't know what to say, so he bailed, and Caroline says that magical pregnancy is hard to deal with. Caroline says Stefan stood by her with grief over her mom, so if he wants to run, he can. Stefan says he loves her, and she says she loves her too. She loves him too. And Mary Louise tells Nora what she did. Julien tells Lily he loves her too much, and basically he tells Lily to choose between Damon and Valerie. Which is interesting. He says one lives, one dies. He says she's a Salvatore, one of them, and you know neither of them are going to die. You know they're not going to kill off Damon. They're certainly not going to kill off Damon. They're not going to kill off Valerie. This is just not the time to do it. And Lily stares and he says choose. He holds out the knife. Nora rants and this was a genuinely terrifying scene. My problem was this really felt like something that should have happened next week. And Nora rants to Mary Louise for what she's done. Mary Louise says that Valerie has been lying to them. Nora says that Julien took Valerie's child. Nora gives back the ring and says she won't take the ring of any of it. And she walks away and, this is interesting, the way we're seeing this. Mary Louise thinking that Valerie's lying to them, and Nora's on Valerie's side. Now, this I like. I like seeing these two divided, and this could make them a lot more interesting. They could easily go in a very just like, they could go in a very just like, predictable direction, but I don't know. Honestly, I think it's going to go in a very interesting way, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what they're going to do with this, because this is how you make these characters more interesting. They're not interesting yet, but I think now they're definitely going to make them a bit more interesting. I think definitely they're trying to do more with them. So at least they're trying to make an effort. Lily tells Julien that he was once kind when she fell for him. She says he's in shock from the hell he was trapped in. Valerie comes to and says Julien was born evil. Damon's awake too and says one stab through the heart. He says Lily always choose the heretics. Why stop now? And Lily tells Valerie that she's so strong. She's sorry she didn't see it sooner. Lily then goes to Damon and calls him son. She says, please forgive me. He says, just kill me. And Lily tells Julien he's wrong about so many things, but she never had the courage to tell him. And Lily says that he's wrong. She can choose them both. She stabs herself, and Lily dies. And I was shocked that she did this. And I get that he wanted to unlink them, he says. He called her sweet and foolish, says he unlinked them. And I understand that she obviously wanted to sacrifice herself, but I really feel like this would have been a lot more powerful had she done this in the mid-season finale. I would have wanted to see Lily live a bit longer. I understand that, obviously, she didn't really know what to do, but I just felt like a lot of what we got in this episode we should have gotten in next week's episode, because I have no idea what's going to happen now. It was definitely very sad, and Lily says he's wrong, she can choose them both, and basically they see Stefan and Nora run in, they see she's dying, the truck door opens, Matt tells Enzo to save his strength. He says Enzo was right about him not being able to protect Mystic Falls on his own. He says he made some friends and they wanted Enzo. Nora can't get the splinters out, and Lily is dying, and Nora tells Stefan, tell me what to do. Stefan says say goodbye. Nora says they wouldn't be a family without her. She says she's sorry this happened. Nora tells her goodbye. She hurries out, and Damon's upset. Bo kneels next, takes her hand, he kisses her on the forehead. Stefan goes next, takes her hand. She tells him to promise him to use his time to the fullest. She looks over at Damon, who's boozing heavily, and Julien is raging, and I get that Julien's obviously really upset, but now they have a reason to kill Julien, because let's face it, she did it because of Julien. Mary Louise comes to him crying, says Nora gave her back the ring. He says Lily staked herself in the heart. Mary Louise is shocked. He says she was trying to kill him, but didn't know she already unlinked them. Julien says that he wanted to spare Lily if her sons tried to kill him, and Mary Louise rants, and Julien says that it's all gone, and Valerie tells Lily she forgives her for loving Julien, and she kisses her, and it is a very satisfying scene. I will say it's a satisfying death overall. I think they handled it very well. It's not that they handled it in a bad way by any means. It's just I felt like this definitely should have happened next week. It just would have been a lot more effective that way. Valerie tells Damon his mother is just moments left. Damon takes another drink, then comes over to her. Lily tells Damon that she's sorry. Stefan tells him to say something. He hands the ball to Stefan and kneels. He says she made her bed and says, have a nice nap. He walks away. Stefan looks sickened by what she said, and then their mother dies. And basically that's what happens there. Now, what the hell is going to happen next week? Honestly, I have no idea, because we just end there and then we go to 3 years from now. Which I was a bit upset about. I wanted to see more of, like, what's the hell's gonna happen next week. I mean, Julian's still out there, obviously. They're gonna probably try to kill Julien. Thing is, though, if they kill Julien, there's no villain left for this season. I don't know who the hell the villain's gonna be. I mean, obviously, Mary Louise and Nora seem like they're starting to go to their side, so I really don't know who the hell the villain's gonna be. I don't really feel like the stakes are that high for next week's episode. I really don't feel like, I'm not really feeling that feeling of, oh, the stakes are really high. You know, it really feels like we're in for a big mid-season finale. It doesn't feel that way. It just feels like there's gonna be a mid-season finale next week, and that's all there is to it. The originals definitely feels a lot bigger, and that's normal for the originals, but the Vampire Diaries, not so much. So, Damon asks Lily if she's still there. She comes over, says she's sorry. She says he was poisoned with werewolf toxin and will die soon. Damon says something has been bothering him for a long time. He says he's sorry. Lily says he must be having a bad trip, then says his mother has been dead for years. It's not Lily, it's someone else, and kicks Damon in the face, and that's how the episode ends. So, my main thing with this episode, guys, is while it was a really good episode, I just felt a lot of the major events should have taken place next week. Caroline telling Stefan should have happened next week. You know, she could tell anyone else, but tell Stefan next week. That would have made a lot more sense. Lily sacrificing herself should have happened next week. Honestly, most of this episode should have happened next week. Except for Mary Louise and Nora, the whole scene with Valerie, that should have happened this week. That was really great. I like the way they're trying to do more with the Mary Louise and Nora. The thing is, I just don't really know where we're going next week, and I don't necessarily care. I mean, it doesn't really look like the stakes are that high. It looks like a really interesting episode. It just, I don't really know where we're going. I really don't know here. I mean, I'm thinking that Stefan and Damon and all the heretics, they're going to try to kill Julien. I'm assuming that's what they're going to do now. But if you kill Julien, what else is there to do? I mean, I don't really see what there is left to do in the season after Julien dies. I'm not really sure, because it just didn't seem like they're that much else of a threat. Enzo needs to go, honestly. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of his storyline. His storyline felt pointless to me in this episode with Matt. Matt is good. I like that he has a character this season. I think they're doing some good stuff with him, definitely. We know that he's going to have a Bonnie. Where the fuck was Bonnie this episode? Bonnie wasn't here either. Alaric wasn't here. Bonnie wasn't here. Why weren't they here? I don't know. We'll have to see what's going to happen with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Caroline. I like the way they're writing Valerie. I mean, I like definitely with Mary Louise and Nora, the way that they're divided. I think that's very interesting. The way that Mary Louise is not trusting Nora, but Nora is very interesting, and I definitely really like that. But overall, guys, I was a bit disappointed with this episode. I just feel like a lot of the major events should have happened last week. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. I will see you guys next week, which will be my review for the originals, which definitely was a much better episode. And I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.